Gridiron is sponsored by Gridiron Orthodontics.
Welcome to this week's edition of the Gridiron, sponsored by Gridiron Orthodontics. I'm your host, John Brown, with the head coach, Chad Brubaker. Springford fell in the first round of the 6A District 1 playoffs, Downingtown East, 39-12. Coach, obviously disappointing way to finish the season, and I felt when you looked at it, it was an opportunity. You had some chances early in the game and just really weren't able to capitalize in the game. Just kind of seemed like it got away from you a little bit.
Well, not only did we have a couple chances, we gave them chances too. Their three scores came on a pick six, a fumbled kickoff return definitely inside the 25. I don't remember exactly off the top of my head, and also a botched punt snap. So that was their 19 points in the first half. Yeah. We got the ball. They went for it on their own 10-yard line. I don't know what to make of that, but our defense held a couple of times. Mm-hmm. We also, another mistake we made, there was some, I don't know, communication mix-up or whatever, and it was fourth down. Our quarterbacks, our punting, we have the opportunity, if it's not a normal punt, to take a look, line up, and then see what they're doing. If they're not covering somebody, they can
audible, do whatever you see. Right.
And
which is nothing new for you guys. You've done that in the past, right?
And I don't know. I guess there was a mix-up. I don't know if the ball was snapped early or when it wasn't supposed to be, or we asked for the snap. One of those things happened. So, and our defense, by the way, held again. Yeah. And then we ended the first half on the 1-yard line. Made a couple mistakes in that drive in terms of 2 minutes. Didn't run out of bounds one time, and then threw the ball into the middle before the goal line.
Yes.
But all those things, you can add them all up and you can twist them and turn them. Whatever. We didn't do the things that we needed to do to win. But and then the second half, our defense finally wore down. They're running a fast-paced, old-school style run game.
You're beating me all the questions. I was going to say, have you ever seen a team that's run hurry up, essentially to run not power I, but just run it down your throat for 3 yards?
It wasn't power I. It's regular
that's the idea, is what
yeah.
I'm saying. Go so fast. Well, usually they're trying to throw you, spread you out, but they were going fast to run the ball.
Yeah, they did that to us in we went to an 11-on-11 camp in the summer, and they did that. They were practicing it there. So we knew it was coming. Mm-hmm. I think that was impressive as to how quickly they did run it. There were a couple times where we were asking for, were they set or did someone move a little bit early? We didn't get those calls, and so I just hats off in terms of how they ran their
execution.
Offense.
Yeah.
It's an interesting concept, and we did eventually, that first drive of the second half where they went down and drove the field. That was really their first finishing drive
of the game. Yeah.
But they did it a few times in the second half. And I think our kids just eventually wore down. Now, it would have been really interesting, had it been a little bit
capitalized
closer,
early, yeah.
Yeah, had we finished the drive at the end of the first half, if we didn't fumble when we were going in on the 10-yard line, and maybe, our first drive of the game we were going pretty good as well.
Got some first downs.
We're inside the 40 and then jumped off sides and, things like that. Offensively, since we're on that side of the ball, I would say, we had a very low margin for error this year.
Any mistake you guys made essentially capitalized, and penalties really seem to be the offense's downtrodden through the year. Was really what kind of set you guys back, got you off your rhythm. It ended up being penalties.
And I would say, some of those things, and not making. Brian Engro had an unbelievable year. And
Huge
we can
numbers.
talk about that. We can talk about that later. Look out next year when he gets a little bit more confidence after having this year under his belt. There were a couple times where we were just begging him to pull the ball on Friday night, and he did the safe thing, which was also it's not wrong. Mm-hmm. It's not wrong, but when he gets a little bit better at deciding what to do in a moment and reacting. and then knowing what to do immediately after that, whether throw or run. He's gonna have an opportunity to have an unbelievable senior year.
Yeah, and that's just opportunities. It's reps. He's put 11 games in the books essentially in his thing, and he has all this offseason to carry over. I think, like you said, it was an idea like what it could have been. What if, you get a score, you build some momentum. Instead, at the halftime, you kind of leave, once again, an opportunity, and now you're going halftime down 19-0. They're getting the ball. It's really what could have been a situation for you guys on Friday night. And there's nothing you can come back here and say, after every game you're saying what it could have did.
Sure.
Right.
Sure, but the hard part for us was that we made those 3 mistakes. And the pick six.
And they were quick.
They were quick, yeah. The pick six was one where we had gone over. That was a mistake. We had gone over that. We had actually gone over the exact same scenario during the week. And Ryan threw 45 times on Friday night, so it was that moment he forgot about what we had talked about.
And it seemed like a game also too where we talked about like they took away the run ability. You guys really didn't get anything going on the ground game. It's tough to. So that was kind of once again that almost kind of what Listen, you got to throw the ball.
The other thing that again, all these things are they're not excuses. We have to play in the elements. But if that's a dry ball night, I don't think they could have stayed in some of the defenses that they were in. Because we would have had more success. The quick screens were there. We threw a lot of screens early. We threw a middle screen, a tunnel screen. We threw some flare screens to the back. What we struggled to throw was like the catch and throw stuff, the bubbles, the snags, because of the heaviness of the ball and the slickness of the ball. Again, we have to play in those elements. It's not an excuse or anything like that. But I just would have liked to, see what we could have done in those situations. Again,
I told you last week when we were at Creekside to check out the weather, right? I told you it was a possibility.
It kept backing off a little bit.
I know, and it kept going later and later. Then I get woken up at nighttime by the tornado warnings that were coming through. All right, with all that being said, we still do have some offensive highlights from the game.
Sure.
All right, let's check out the offensive highlights from Springford Downingtown East.
Offensive highlights are sponsored by Euro Motor Cars of Devon.
Okay, so this is actually at the end of the game, and you'll see when we run this back. This is Dante Benani had
huge numbers for you guys.
Huge numbers, not what was said in the paper. He got mixed up on a couple catches with some other receivers, but still a huge night. You can see, here's the thing. They're bringing a blitz there. They're bringing a blitz, and I don't know what the situation was, but I think there was some question as to why we were keeping our guys. This is a playoff game, man. And they're bringing a blitz. Why aren't we going to throw? Like, it's ridiculous. They were man coverage. This set up our first
little hook and ladder action.
Almost the reverse, though. It was a hook and an inside ladder. But this is a play that we practice every week, and we finally got a chance to really execute it. And we got down inside the 5 and set up our first touchdown of the night, right around the 5. This was a nice play early, this was a later play. This is Andrew Yoon, one of our sophomore backs, and Andrew is going to be a nice player for us. We did struggle to run the ball during the night. I think we would have been helped by running the ball if Ryan had kept it a little bit more often. Here's a nice pass on. This was right before the half. This was a really nice.
Are you worried about this? Throw. Seems like a little bit of coverage there too.
Yeah, well,
sometimes you got to throw into the coverage.
Sometimes you have to. And what happened there was our 3-strong player needed to get a little bit more flat. He was a little deep. This is B.J. Beard, his first touchdown catch of his career. This was his first start of his career, really the first time he had seen varsity action. There was a great job, by the way. You saw Ryan step up into the pocket. I tell you, when Ryan is good, Ryan is very good. We need to get rid of some of the lulls. And that was an example of him stepping up in the pocket, no fear, boom, drilling it. And like I finished my statement on B.J. Beard, B.J. is a guy that came back out for football after missing his sophomore year. We've been encouraging, getting on him, encouraging, getting on him, encouraging. finally BJ figured it out. Like the thing that kids miss their most in their sophomore year if they decide not to play is they don't get that, and Jason Kirkus does a great job for our 9th grade, but they don't get the independent film time. Coach Kirkus does get some opponents' films more so than any other 9th grade coach I know, but we get 4 or 5 films on every opponent, and the kids have to watch them. They have to know their game plan. They have to show up to practice knowing their game plan. They have to show up knowing at practice what the other team's going to do, what you're going to see, who you're going to play against, what number, hey, who's the left corner, who's the right corner, do they switch, who's the safety. It took BJ that long to get there. And, he comes out and first game ever has 5 catches for 49 yards, makes a couple nice plays.
Major contributions against a big District 1 opponent.
Caught our first touchdown, and so that's the learning curve. But it took him 10 games to try to figure that out. In spite of the fact that we're telling him each week, like, this is what you got to do. Yeah. So, hey, credit to him. We're going to have him back. We didn't have Blaise Scarcelli on Friday night. That's another thing. He had a high ankle sprain. So we have some guys coming back, next year on our offensive side. We really have essentially 4 offensive linemen coming back, our quarterback coming back, Blaze and Dante coming back, Nick
Yoon came back
coming
and got
back,
some running time and running back too. Yeah.
As well.
Got to find
PJ
that tight
Beard.
end. You love that. You love that tight end action. You got to find that tight end.
We have some, and you're right. And
that's something that's been missing from this program the past couple years.
It has been. There's big kids walking around in the building that I talk to all the time. Like, hey, how's it going? You know, when walking through the hallway, hey, you think about playing football? There are some guys. We have some sophomores we think can step up and fill that role. At the end of the year, we used James Albert and Alex Korecki in that role, and James is another one that we can use.
And you try not to give those guys both sides of the ball. You really want a full-time tight end.
I think there's a couple of kids that are sophomores that could fill that role, and kids with big feet and broad shoulders that are still a little gawky as 10th graders, and they get in the weight room.
The whole year they grow into that body.
Yep.
All right, Coach, good stuff right there. We still got to talk to defense, all right?
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll take a look at the defensive highlights from Springford, Downingtown East.
What are you, superheroes?
Just 4 brothers who hate bullies and love this city.
Whoa!
Gear up, guys.
Welcome back to the Gridiron, sponsored by Wyron Orthodontists. I'm your host, John Brown, with the head coach, Chad Brubaker. All right, Coach, before we talk defense a little bit out there, I'm sure you want to give some thanks to some people out there, a lot of sponsors, a lot of people that support this show and the entire program out there, and want to give them their time.
Sure. Well, put me on a spot.
Yeah.
No, listen, Creekside sponsored our website this year.
Made a couple trips out there.
Yeah. Good food.
Yeah,
good
always
times.
great. Good times.
Also, Rothman, who did
cart.
our cart, which came in really handy. Our old golf cart, if you remember, it's still out there. It has a treated 2x8 on the front. It's a bumper, but we got a little upgrade
from the cart.
That. Also, who am I?
Wegmans did the shirts.
Wyron Orthodontics
did the show. Yeah.
Wegmans, Storty Insurance on the 10K camera shirts. There's a ton of them, and now
the car,
Patriot, Chevrolet,
car, right?
the truck. We have a lot of great sponsors. We always are grateful for them, and
all the support. You really
do
get a lot of support
Absolutely.
in the community. You know what? Actually, I'm going to share. I was driving in the Radnor School District, and like week 10 they play like Lower Merion against big rival, and a lot of like families had like beat Lower Merion signs. Like maybe next year, get some families to put up some signs a week that you play a certain team.
I can only do so much in a week. I'm going to need help. If you're willing to go out and get those signs, I would love that.
I'm always just giving. I'm an idea guy. I'm giving you an idea, something like.
I'm an idea guy too, but I'm doing a little too much.
Okay, well we'll find somebody. But I thought it was a neat little touch in the community.
That is cool.
Like for a rival game, and that
is cool. I like seeing that in towns.
Yeah, exactly. You drive through towns, and I saw those signs. So shout out to Radnor, whoever organized that idea down there. Some nice houses I saw.
Well, they didn't invent it.
I know, but it was a cool. Shout out to them down there. I saw it. Nice houses.
Yeah,
there's some nice houses.
I tell you, if you ever want to see something like that, if you're really into that kind of thing, go this Friday to see Mannheim Central play.
And who do they play this week?
Well, I don't care. It doesn't matter.
Just a little town.
Just go into town. There's stuff on every telephone pole, every yard. It's a pretty neat atmosphere. Plus, they're 11-0, so
that helps.
That helps it too.
All right. Hey, some announcements. Talked about all those Pac teams making the playoffs. A lot of them taking an early exit. I don't know. You guys, PV loses to Quakertown. Upper Merion and Phoenixville losing the 5A. But you got a 4A championship of Pottstown versus Grove. Long bus ride for Pottstown to Pottsgrove on Friday night for the 4A. And PJP lost in the AAA. So a lot of the Pac teams went on for postseason. A lot of them are also done getting ready for winter sports.
Yeah, no, and I feel like overall, like we feel that we're a little bit ahead of where we thought we'd be. So this was all bonus to us. Not that that's not our goal all the time, but we knew we had some underclassmen that we were gonna have to work in. We knew we had a new quarterback coming in and all that stuff. So we feel pretty good. I tell you what, Coach Heist. I talked to Coach Heist. He is not happy about Friday night. In that weather, the type of team they are offensively, type of team really they are defensively. They're not a line up and create a wall team. They're more like a storm the castle team, and he is just really upset about how that went down.
I saw some pictures over there. They had some basically like a
and I don't blame him. I don't blame him honestly. Like how many they played at least 2 games during the season at other people's stadiums. Probably should have played the district game, although that's a problem. That's a problem. Like when it's a lot of logistics to move.
Well, you saw Garden Valley move their game. They moved it to Saturday. Garden Valley did
at home still.
But I'm saying,
and they have turf.
Right, but I'm saying at least give it a day. Like.
Yeah, right. I agree. At the very least, I agree with that.
Give the field a day.
I feel. As much as my heart can feel for Brown and Orange, I do feel for him because he works hard and he's done a great job there, and that's tough. Okay. That's tough. Yeah. When you want to be, again, not that we had a similar thing. We weren't as successful as we would have liked to be. When it was really raining, it was still tough on Friday night to throw.
Yeah.
We would have if it was on a grass field, we would have had no shot. And you hate to, teams are designed for weather. Some teams are designed for weather just because of who they have, what their philosophies are. Personnel. I thought it was very interesting that Coach Matta chose to talk about the weight room and how they get in the weight room in January, and we'll be in the weight room next week in November. So it's not necessarily, sometimes it's about the Jimmies and Joes, and we work really, really hard in the weight room. We hold our kids accountable, and sometimes it's gonna, some guys get testosterone sooner than others, and we work really hard, and our staff
you got 215 kids trying to block, guys that are 270.
Yeah,
it's major, like it's a.
But whatever. Again, we're not making excuses for that. I dropped the mic.
That's all right. It's still working.
We're not making excuses for that. We're just gonna play. We're gonna play with the dudes we have.
Yeah.
Sometimes I wonder. I like to talk about our team after the game. I don't
the other
like
guys.
to talk. Yeah. And he kind of but he was kind of there was some insinuation.
I got what you're saying. We haven't talked defense here in this whole segment, but
Yeah,
looking back at your whole defense on the year, you have to be really excited what your defense did this year. Like, once again here, they had that idea of like a bend don't break, you know, and they got you turnovers this year, which I thought was a real big difference as to what we talked about last year in the show. I think that was huge.
There's two things that I would say. Now, we knew in the secondary we had 3 guys coming back. And those guys are actually, all 4 of them are going to be very difficult to replace. But we knew we had 3 guys coming back. We didn't know who. I'm going to start out talking about 2 guys in particular, because this is how you want your football program to work. Actually, 3 guys, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Alex Korecki, Nate Ork-Fritz Robinson, and Walter Malicious. Now, what do those 3 guys have in common?
First year, essentially, like varsity guys out there.
Those guys didn't play a lot.
Right.
They didn't play a lot. They played a little special teams, but weren't in the rotation.
Now they're every down guys for you.
They worked hard in the weight room since November, not January. They worked hard in the weight room since November of last year and put themselves in a position to have excellent senior years. All 3 guys on some level, I hope, are all league considerations. Nate, week in and week out, just filled the stat sheet, did a great job. Alex, he had 3 interceptions, I believe, this year. He flew around, he made hits, was always in the right spot. He was directing the defense in a lot of situations, or at least the secondary, and just did a great job. And Walter, it's difficult for Walter. He's 6'7". All right, so it's difficult when you got 5'10" high school linemen sometimes trying to block you, and you can't get them, like, they're underneath you. So he did a great job. He put himself in a position to be successful, and he did.
He's almost a guy that you see, like, if he just gets some more football in him, like he could, like he does have like a like you can't teach somebody to be 6'7". You know what I mean? He's got those size things you mark down on paper, and you're like, wow, like that's tough to. Right, it's like if he wants a future, it seems like it's something he could try and find for himself.
Well, ultimately, you need to be that big, and he has worked very, very hard on his agility, doing plyometrics with us and stuff like that, and that's where he'd have to fill in some of those gaps. But ultimately, those 3 guys worked their rear ends off, and they got on the field. And then you supplement that with guys like Leo Van Holst and Nick Yuba and Stephen Brill, who were returning starters, Nick Del Romano, who was a returning starter at linebacker as a senior. Those guys just did a great job for us, and I think they kept us in games. They Friday they definitely kept us in the game early, I think it
seems like the opposite. You're going to have to find guys next year for the defense to fill some voids while you guys got back on.
Some guys that rotated in, Andrew Yoon rotated in a lot for Stephen Brill. Blake Teresi and Ryan Colander rotated at defensive end. DJ Francis started all year at one of the defensive tackle positions, and then James Albert, and we lost Dylan Ducharme to injury. Armonte Haynes played linebacker as well. So we do have some guys with experience back, which is nice. Our big thing next year will be definitely in the secondary, finding guys to replace those guys.
New kicker next year too. You're gonna need. He was a big help.
Taylor did a great job. I don't think, I was trying to figure this out. I don't think Taylor in his career the last 2 years has missed one extra point that wasn't blocked, which obviously is not his fault.
Yeah.
Because there was one on Friday night, and I think there were 2 earlier in the year. Last year, he only missed one. That was a block, and then the Chamonix game, the last extra point of the year, he was 35 for 36, and I think there were 3 blocks this year. So he's just done an absolutely.
And he's another guy that was all in on things too. Like he was a football, and he's a kicker, and he was all in for you guys.
You bet. He did just a tremendous job. He had a 54-yard punt on Friday night too.
Yeah, so cool stuff right there. A lot of good guys getting recognition. Let's check out the defensive highlights from Spring-Ford Downingtown East.
Defensive highlights are sponsored by Euro Motor Cars of Devon.
This is going for it on their own shadow of their goal line, and we wrecked it. I don't know how to view that still. I think I know how to view it, but it didn't work. And then the problem is we were unable to capitalize on it. And, here's another one. This was another play that we made. They forced a fumble here, and we recovered for a touchback. And again, watch. You'll see Nick Del Romano get in there. You'll see Stephen Brill get in there. I think that was Nick Yuba. And there we go. Our ball touchback. And this was another 4th down play. And this is Armonte Haynes. Great job of coverage. stayed in phase there, as they like to say now, is the popular thing.
Staying in phase.
Staying in phase, turns back inside, ball was underthrown, does a good job to play the ball. And, throughout the night, they're just running downhill, pounding, and our guys stuck with it. We were there. We didn't give up a ton of big runs, and that's when you know that you're in trouble, is if you start giving up the 10 and 12-yard runs, you're in trouble. We really didn't do that the whole night. Our guys hung in there. Now, we were giving up 6, 7, 8, 3, 5, whatever. That's guys hanging in there.
Yeah.
And I was proud of our defensive effort. The scoreboard looks like 39, but the offense was responsible for at least, 21 of those, so or 19 of those.
Whatever you want to say, yeah. All right, Coach.
Yeah.
Well, good stuff right there. One more segment for the year, all right?
Okay.
All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll recap the season for the Rams.
Hi, I'm Peter, and there's nothing I love more than sharing vegetables with my friends.
Come on in, help yourself to anything.
That's why we give our food the utmost respect it deserves. Did you know there are simple steps we can all take to help save food? You can cook it, store it, even share it. Just don't waste it. Because when it comes to food, better ate than never. To learn more, visit SaveTheFood.com.
Sure, I look cute now, but when my owner lost his job, it was rough. I was living on the street, and one night, me and this Cocker Spaniel got into it so bad, I wound up looking like an ice cream cone. I cried a little bit, but thankfully I got rescued, so I'm running, I'm jumping, all back to my old self, and I'm ready to give unconditional love, even if you put a lampshade on my head.
Welcome back to the Gridiron, sponsored by Wyron Orthodontists. I'm your host, John Brown, with the head coach, Chad Brubaker. All right, Coach, we've been talking about a lot here, the season, your thoughts, what you thought about some guys, what do you think about some guys coming back, and like you said, you have to like where you're at. You're 3-1 in a tough non-league kind of start to the season out there. Your only loss in the league came at PV, that game against PV, where we talked about it. We don't need to talk about it anymore. And you make the district play. It's got yourself a home game out there, but you obviously see you got things to build on with the squad that you was a part of what happened this year, and the guys you got coming back.
Well, definitely feel that way. I just want to emphasize before talking about that we always focus on seniors and try to focus on seniors, and I think they did a tremendous job
absolutely.
as well. A senior class, I'm trying to think what their overall record would have been. Help me out.
Well, this year, so we had 3 losses, so they're 8-3. Last year we were like
6-5.
6-5.
6-5. What were the year before?
I'm going to say somewhere probably around that 8-3.
9-3.
9-3. When they were sophomores.
Add that up. 8, 11, 15, 23-11. So, they had, that one year last year kind of knocks that down a little bit, but they were 23 win class, and they did a great job. It's not a big class. It's not a huge class. The classes behind them are a little bit bigger, but so you want to talk about the future, huh?
Yeah, like a little thoughts, as you used to see here. Well, and like you said all show long, like there's guys coming back, and there's guys like you're really excited about Engro and what he can do and what he can bring to the table for this program.
Yeah, we're excited about a lot of guys. We have 3 of our leading receivers back, and like I said, BJ comes back. There's a couple of underclassmen, sophomore kids that saw the field on special teams this year that we think can contribute right away. It's gonna be we're gonna have a really good off season. We like our kids. Just personality-wise and everything.
Coachable kids is that makes a real big part about being a coach. You get kids that are all in, and you like kids that listen to what you're saying and buy into what you're saying.
Right.
It does make things a lot easier.
Absolutely. When you're spending time away from your family, you're not going to continue. It's going to wear you down if you're not getting through to kids. And,
100% agree.
All of our assistants. I think that's another part of our program. I think that. Right now, it would appear that everyone's back, and that we've had some turnover on the offensive line over the past few years, and Coach Strickler has solidified that again. I think that that's an important piece as well. So, you know, we are looking forward to the off season. I want to see how these kids work. I think they are hard workers. I think they are hungry. I think that they got a little taste in their mouth of playoff football on Friday night. And, you know, we need to take that next step. You know, that's the big thing. We've lost our last 3. Now, of course, you always end up losing unless you're a state champion. But we've lost 2 first-round games the last 2 years, and then the previous year we lost to North Penn down there.
And that's, second-round game.
In that second-round game.
Yeah, you want
again,
that,
I wish
like
that game was on turf.
It's
but
that buzz where you kind of want, you know,
Yeah.
like I go back to that district final team where it was a buzz. Like you went on the road, you found ways to win, and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden you're in the district final, and it was like
Right.
that enthusiasm. And like you said, it had a lot to do with your Jimmies and Joes. You had some Jimmies and Joes
we
on that
did.
team right there
Yeah.
too. So it's
But
the
I-
idea.
you know,
It's a buzz about the program.
I think you know, I think if we can, there's some kids walking around this building that should be playing football, and we'll talk to them. I think there's the kids that are in the program are going to work hard and contribute, and I think they're good citizens, and that's what we're really trying to do. I think if you follow us on Twitter, right? There's a thing we tweeted out today about us going over to Spring City. We're going to be doing kind of more things like that, and we're going to do a community service project coming up in December. I forget what the acronym stands for, but it's RAC, Christmas Kindness or something.
Okay.
I forget. But we're doing that as a program, and you know, that's what's really important. We want to obviously win playoff games, and we want to win league titles, and there's been a little bit of a drought with that, and but during that drought, I can say this: we didn't stop working. We were working just as hard as we were when we did get in district finals, and we're going to work just as hard this off season to get back. So,
all right, Coach, good stuff. Another year in the books. We did another year of the Gridiron.
yeah, how about it? Next year is our 10th anniversary.
Wow, a lot.
We
Maybe
better
we'll go back
new set. I want a new 10th anniversary set.
Maybe we should get some footage from the first year show, how that went over, like if they can find that out
I
somewhere
don't know
in the
about
archives.
that too.
Hey, and if you're still interested in some winter sports, make sure you check out on probably going to be about another month Courtside with Coach Talley.
I love watching Courtside
on the
with
boys
Coach
basketball on their front. What's going to go with those guys?
Coach Talley today.
Oh, good. All right.
Yep.
All right. So yeah, we got to have some pre-production meetings. Me, Andrew, Coach Talley, figure out what we're going to try and do for Courtside this year.
It should be great.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Well, like I said, congratulations.
Is there going to be a bowling show for real?
I don't know, but I am interested in watching high school bowling.
You are?
Yes, I'm telling you, I'm all in. I want to call a bowling match. I'll have to watch some, YouTube, ESPN to get the lingo, but
I tell you what would be great though.
I'm listening.
Are you familiar with the movie Best in Show?
I've heard of it. Do I know the movie Best in Show? I've seen glimpses.
It reminds me of if I would be your color commentator, maybe I would do the dry humor.
Listen, we can do I'm sure we know the guy who's in charge. If we want to do a bowling match, I'm sure we could make some things happen.
My winter's pretty busy.
Okay, all right. We'll find one day. One day you can do it. All right. Like I said, congratulations.
Thanks.
And we'll see you next.
I appreciate.
Next fall.
I want to say this too. I appreciate all that you've done for the football program in terms of just doing this and announcing games and stuff. I think that every school has guys that are interested in the athletic program and go above and beyond outside of what they're coaching.
Yeah.
Which of course you coach too. But I appreciate that, and maybe we'll get you. A T-shirt.
Yeah, I love the gear. I'm a big gear guy, so yeah. But
a T-shirt.
I'm all. I'm
or
I
maybe
like all
even
the
a quarter zip.
Sports. Oh, quarter. I'm a huge
Or,
quarter zip guy. You know the gear I like.
Yeah.
You know what to get. All right. Congratulations.
Christmas is coming.
We'll see you next fall.
Okay.
Fall of 19, we'll be back here.
Yeah.
New studio. We'll talk. We know a guy.
Yeah, let's
we know a guy.
Deconstruct and reconstruct.
All right. Sounds good. So thank you for tuning into this season of the Gridiron. For the head coach, Chad Brubaker, I'm John Brennan. See you next fall on the Gridiron.